Okay, sir. I'm audible over the web. Okay, sir. So yesterday we have tried to understand CMD and entry point, and then we were trying to basically build an image for fast API. Okay, right. So what I'll try to do is let us basically look into this aspect now. Optimizing images. Okay, sir. So what I'll try to do is మన లైబ్రరీ అప్లికేషన్ దేంట్లో ఉంది? వాళ్ళు ఎవరో రాసిన దానికి ఎందుకు మనం రాసుకుందాం. సో సిడి సి డ్రైవ్ ఓకే. ఓకే, సింపుల్ ఫాస్ట్ ఏపీఐ. One minute, sir. I'll share this code. You need not do any of this activity. You'll be getting this code, and for this we are supposed to write a Docker file. So cd c drive temp okay. Okay, sir. Let us try for a simple project first, and then we will try to do for the rest. Okay. So this is the simple project which I was trying to speak about. This project is an API, and this API is developed in fast API. Now I want to basically run this. Okay, I want to create a Docker file for this. So whenever you want to run the Docker file, we need to understand how this application runs. Okay. So for this application to run, let me try to write down the steps over here. Okay, so let me quickly write readme.md running this application. Okay, come on. Okay, fine, sir. So the first thing which you need to do is get the code. For getting the code, what you are supposed to do is you are supposed to execute git clone and then this repository. Now create a virtual environment and activate it. Okay, this is generally something which we'll do for local machines. Okay, so if you go into Perplexity and ask how to create a virtual environment in Mac, how to create a virtual environment in Windows, you will try to see this. So let me try to write, if it is in Windows, what I'll try to do is I'll try to execute python -m venv dot venv and venv slash script slash activate. This we might not be doing in Docker because in Docker we are running only one application. On your laptop, I'll be running thousands of applications. So that's the reason I might need a different environment for every application. Okay, fine then. And after that, install dependencies. So how do I install dependencies? So for that, I'll be executing pip install -r requirements.txt. Now run the application. To run the application, I need to execute uvcorn. I think I forgot the command. Fast API. Okay, there are multiple ways. One is you can try to basically go with this, but I'll go with uvcorn. Yeah, this is how you try to run the server. Okay, port 8000. Okay, -- reload if I'm not wrong. Okay, these are the steps. Okay, sir. So fine. So are we clear on the steps now? So to run this application, what is it I require? I require Python. And once I have Python, then I need to install dependencies. And I need to copy code into my image and then run this command. Antena? Yes. So generally for Node.js projects and Python projects, you copy directly the code. Okay. For Java projects and .NET projects, you copy what you have built. For example, in the Java world, we were copying the spring.clinic.jar file. That is what is required to run the application. Okay. Right. So now if I refresh this, and let me try to click on readme.md. Okay. A simple fast API application. Refer here for steps. Okay, I can run this machine on my local machine where Docker is installed, but I want to do everything on a what do you call on a Linux machine. Okay, so I'm quite sure that everyone knows how to create a virtual machine and install Docker in that. Yes or no? So I'm not doing that. I have basically written some automation which will create a virtual machine and then it will try to basically deploy. All I need is a variable name. Yeah. So you create a machine manually and install Docker inside that. I'm not doing that because I want to save time. Yeah. Right, sir. You have asked me what is readme.md file, but what is that I have written in readme.md file? Steps. That is documentation, right? So what could be MD now? A file which can have documentations, right? Terraform apply -var instance type is equals to t2 dot medium -auto approve. Okay. Let me just cross check whether things are. Okay, sir. So by the time that command is finished, we will have Docker running. Okay. Now, what is required now? So we would require Python. So what are the steps which you need to do? Copy code and then install dependencies. And then how to run application. For that, I think we have a command already for that. That is this. Okay. Right. And then expose. Yeah. Right. So let me go to Docker Hub and let me try to search for Python. So let me try to be specific about Python. Let me try to that I'm interested in Python, which is a version, the version which developer have said is 3.12 present. Okay. So let me go and search for something called as Python. Okay, good. In Python, what is the version which I want? 3.12. Okay. So first, let me try to basically look at what is the latest version. Okay, latest is 3.13. 3.13 వాడదాం latest వాడదాం ఎందుకు? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, fine, sir. So let me log in into this machine. Okay, Docker info. Okay, so I'll be trying to write the code over here. I mean Docker file over here, and then we will try to basically make the necessary changes. Okay, so from Python :3.1. And whenever you are trying to play with these tags, right, there is one extra step which we need to do, which we have not done so far. So what is the tag which I'm trying to look out for? 3.13. Okay. Right, sir. So if you try to look into the stuff over here, 3.13. What is the size of this image? Approximately, we will be using this AMD 64. What is the size of this? Okay. This one? This one? This is Windows. Okay. Leave the Windows. We are not using the Windows version. And this is 3.13. Okay. 3.13.0. So the sizes are in control. Okay. So first what I'll try to do is let me try to pull this image and let me try to do this. Docker pull Python :3.1. There is no need for you to pull. I'm just pulling to figure out the image sizes. Yeah. Docker image ls. What is the size of this image? First, let us build an image with this, then we will go for a slim version. Okay. The first thing which you need to look at is the size. And the second thing which you need to look out for is vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities are security issues. So if you go with this particular image, how many issues should you have? Ensure that there are no, try to choose an image where the vulnerabilities in this red color are 0 at least. Okay, that's a bare minimum which is expected. So for example, I can take this image because, yeah, low issues are fine. If you try to look into Alpine, there is none that is found. Okay, there are two reasons for this. One is this is very slim, it will not have anything harming. And the second thing is not many tools are able to find out the security issues in Alpine, especially these free tools, because it has very, very less number of vulnerabilities. That's a basic reason for that. Okay, right. Fine then. So let me go over here and then let me start writing label author is equals to okay. Right. Now what is it I need to do? I need to copy what? Whatever is present in current directory into where? Slash app. Any problem with this? Okay. Right. Now workdir will be slash app. And we said that our application will be running on the port 8000. Now let me try to get into run and then let me execute a command which is called as pip3 install -r requirements.txt. If you're running on a Windows machine, you will be using pip. If you're running on a Linux machine, go with an option of pip3. Okay. So till here, what will happen, sir? Code is copied. Dependencies are installed. Now the only thing which I need to figure out is how do I run my application. For that, I'll be using CMD. And my CMD will be in which form, sir? Always in exec form. Okay. All right. So now let me try to use quotes. What does 0.0.0.0 means? Expose this application on all the ports of this machine. Expose this application on all the ports of machine, because if you don't do it, it will be exposed only on localhost. When it is exposed only on localhost, that means that only the people who are inside this machine can access it, which is not a good idea. Make sense? Okay. Right then. Okay, sir. So now you go over here. So this was our first version of the Docker file. Oh. Okay. So this was our first version of the Docker file. So refer here for first version of Docker. Now let me get inside this machine. And here let me try to get this code. To get this code, I think in the readme.instructions, I have basically given all of that. But the only thing that you need to change is the command will be pip3 here. Okay, and you need not create virtual environment inside the container. Outside the container, if you are trying to run, always create a virtual environment. Okay. Get close. Who gives you these steps? Developer gives you the steps. Okay, all right. Fine, sir. Now I have Docker file here. So I am trying to build Docker image build -t simple fast API SFA :1. and dot. Why the అంత అద్భుతం ఏముంది అందులో? 1 minute, sir. Let me try this locally. ఏమేమి ఉన్నాయి? This is a very simple thing కదా. 1 minute, let me try to correct this. Fast API, pip install UVcorn and pip install fast API. That should be enough to basically start. One minute, sir. Let me try to correct it. Because I've run this very long back. I'm not sure did I add any additional dependencies into it or not. So right now, when you are building the image, this failed. Now this is a problem which has to be solved by a developer because it has nothing to do with your stuff. There is something which is missing. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to run it locally. ఓకే, ఇందాక కూడా ఇయే కదా ఉంది. Okay, fine. Some versions have changed. That's okay. Now, what was our command to run this application? Readme.md. So locally it is working. All you have to do is access slash docs. No. Why is it so? Okay. 0 dot. Yeah. Right. Okay then. So this looks fine for me. Let me try once again. Let me try this once again. This is where it was failing. UV loop. Let us try to search for the solution for this. Struck, right? Fine. Okay, sir. Okay, one change I'll try to do. That change which I want to try is I just want to confirm whether it is version with any Python or specifically 3.13. Yeah. It is a version with problem with 3.13. So I'm not going to fix it. So let me stick it to 3.12. Okay. Right. Sir. Fine. Whatever it was. Okay, sir. But let us try to look into Docker image ls. So, and Docker image pull Python colon 3.1. 3.12 will be pulled already, but it will not be showing as that. Are you seeing all the layers are existing? Yeah. So if you try to see what is the size of 3.12, and we have added approximately 0.08 GB of size. Okay, fine then. Now the point is, how can I reduce the size of it, and how can I try to take an image, because I don't need that much. If you try to see, I'm speaking about one page of code or one file of code. That is basically what I'm trying to use over here. Okay, right then. So okay, the first thing which I'm going to do is, at least we are now clear that we are using 3.12. So in 3.12, let me basically try to take the image which is Alpine based. So what is the size of this image? 16.5. I'm not going to do any changes. The only thing which I'm trying to do is I'll try to replace this. Am I clear on this, sir? Yeah. Okay, sir. So refer here for change to slim version. Now what is the image which I have used? So let me directly pull this. So Docker, this should not take a lot of time because here we are speaking about a very less size image. Now Docker image ls. So what is the size of my application? 46.9 MB. Now let me try to build the image with the latest image version. So Docker image build, but this time I'll be trying to call it as 1-alpine. Okay. You need not do any same Git operation, sir. All you need to do is you can directly take the code. Here I'm changing the code and then trying to do the things also, right? Yeah. So what is the size of our image now? So if my application is running in 122 MB and one more version is running in 1.09 GB, which one should I take? Do you agree that I think I should go with a slim version? So this is the first option where you cut down on the unnecessary fat. Okay, but let us try to run the application. The basic thing is application should be working. So Docker run ---- name. So let me try to call it as fat version and -d -P and SFA:1. This was a fat version. And now let me try to speak about slim version where I am trying to use 1-alpine. Now Docker PS 1 runs on 32769. Okay, so what is this machine's IP address? I don't know where I was in. Sirland, ikkade untuntaru na telusu. I can log in into AWS and then check, but I don't have that much of. Okay, so this is the IP address of that machine. http://this:/3276/docs. This was a fat version. Okay. Now if you try to look at the slim version was 32769. So let me try to copy the exact same thing and 3276. I'm getting the same thing. Okay. Now if you try to look into functionality, what I have done over here is this is a very simple API which will add two numbers. You give 10, you give 20 and execute it. So I should be getting 30. Am I getting 30? Whether I do it in this or whether I do it in this, it is giving me the same result. Okay. Now, are we clear on this first aspect? Yeah. First, when we are trying to learn Docker first, our idea is to somehow make it work. Now, what I'm trying to tell is, okay, you are making it work wonderful, but don't try to use fat images. Try to use as much as slim versions as possible. Okay. Are we clear so far? Yes. Okay. Now, what else is left? I have spoken about two things yesterday. One was this. There was one more thing which I've asked. What was that? When I'm running any application, generally applications run as which user? Root user. Is that a good idea? No. So what is it I should be doing? I should be creating a user. So over here, let me try to run, or first what we'll try to do is, let me get into this. Let me try to see if there is any user already existing inside the container. So Docker ps docker exec -it slim /bin/sh, and let me try to do cat etc slash PASSWD. So there is a user already called as nobody. I can either use this nobody or I can create something new. The choice is ours. So shall we do this? Okay, fine, sir. So what I'll try to do is the user is nobody, and whenever I'm trying to copy, okay, Docker file instructions, and in this Docker file instructions I can go with copy, and in copy I can give, there is something called as ch hyphen ch own. What does it mean? Give ownership. So or you can give chmod where you give file permissions. So here what I'll do is hyphen ch own. So to whom I should give the ownership now? అయిపోయిందా? So I'm giving ownership to the nobody so that it copies the current directory into app, and I have permission on app. Who has a permission? Who is the owner? Nobody is the owner. Are we clear on this, sir? Yes. So this is the next change. Added a non-root user. So every time you might not find a non-root user inside your machine. If you don't find it, I've shown you the user add command also. So you can go with run instruction, create one user, and ensure that you're running as that user. Okay. Fine. Okay, sir. Refer here for changes to use a non-root user. Okay, sir. So now let me basically go over here. Exit cd. What was that? Simple fast API. Okay. Now let me try to build the image, but this time I'll be trying to call it as 2 hyphen. Okay. Oh, sorry. I have to build the image. 2 hyphen. Okay. Now what is the problem? Some permissions. The cache has been disabled. Oh, one thing, sir. Just one small stuff. There is one small thing which you need to add over here. C drive. This one, sir. So this is something which you need to basically add. Okay, that is why it is failing. Pip. Okay. Right. So let me try it now. So these fixes you will basically get when you just do a little bit of Googling, saying that this is the error which I got. How do you do that? If you copy that error into Perplexity also, you'll get the resolution for that. Added fix. Hopefully, let us try to see if this works or not. Then I'll try to give that change. What is happening? Did not succeed. What was the error? Are you seeing any other install collected packages permission denied? Okay, could not install due to okay. So right now what is happening is it was not the cache there, but the challenge that is happening is we have taken nobody, right? Yeah, but nobody users. For doing some installation, it needs access to /local, which nobody doesn't have. Okay, fine then. Now how do I solve this problem? Okay, so generally if you try to look into this application, to run this application, what I need is I need some dependencies, and those dependencies, if they are present, that is more than enough for. Okay, right, sir. So if we go with a user, what is an option which we are getting? Okay, when we tried as a non-root user, we are getting permission issues. We'll resolve this, sir. But to resolve this is not a better example. I'll try to tell about one more example of Java, and then we'll try to solve this problem. Okay, right. We'll come back to this solution. Now I'll try to take simple Spring Boot, that is Java application. And for this, do you remember on which day we have written the class notes for this? I think we have written a Docker file for this. Do you remember any date? Okay. ఇక్కడేదో రాసినట్టున్నాం కదా కాదా? I remember writing a Docker file for this. 6 అంటే ఇదే కదా? Oh, I have written but not copied into the notes, is it? Okay, fine. Right. So if you remember, our Docker file might have sounded something like this. I'll try to write whatever that Eclipse Tamarin's version is. Add into /spc.jar expose 8080 cmd java -jar /spc.jar. ఒప్పుకుంటారా? దగ్గర ఇలాగే ఉందా? యా. సో what was that version? Docker hub, and let me try to search for okay, let me not do that. Open JDK. Okay. Eclipse -Tamarin. Okay, I might have written from Eclipse -Tamarin what was it? 17-JRE. Yeah? ఇలాంటిది ఏదో రాసి ఉంటుందిగా. Yes, but let me try to see if this image is present or not. Okay, right. Fine, sir. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you try to look into this, what is the problem with this version? I am trying to take the jar file. Okay, and where is this jar file built from? I don't know. I've taken from some location. Okay, let us go back to our demo day. So on the demo, I might have spoken about CI/CD pipeline. On CI/CD pipeline, what did I say? whenever developer submits the code, we build the code, and whatever package which we get, we try to deploy that. Do you all agree with me on this? So now do you agree that this jar file is something which I should be building every time whenever developer makes a change? Yes? Okay. So right now the approach is to build the jar file, try to go with Java approach, and then copy it into the Docker. అంటే జార్ ఫైల్ ని డాకర్ కాని ప్రపంచంలో బిల్డ్ చేసి डॉकर इमेज लोग पेस्ट చేయమంటాం. ओके, तो हम लोग जार फाइल कहीं और बिल्ड करेंगे और उसको लाके डॉकर में बिल्ड करेंगे. डॉकर में हम लिनक्स में जो भी कर सकते हैं कर पाएंगे या नहीं कर पाएंगे. So do you agree that Docker is as capable as your Linux machine in at least majority of the cases? Yeah. So the basic idea is, why don't I build the code also in Docker itself as part of my image building process? Because my company is going to run this application only in Docker containers. Then why do I need jar files? Are we clear on this assumption? నేను చెప్పేది మీకు అర్థమవుతుందా అవట్లేదా? राइट, जब मेरा कंपनी सारे चीज डॉकर में ही चलाने वाला है, तो जब मुझे अलग से जावा का बिल्ड क्यों करना है? నా కంపెనీ మొత్తం అన్ని కుబర్నెటీస్ లో కంటైనర్ లో రన్ అవ్వాలని ఫిక్స్ అయినప్పుడు మళ్ళీ నేను జావా బిల్డ్ సర్వర్, .NET బిల్డ్ సర్వర్లు ఇవన్నీ చేయదలుచుకోవాలి. సో ఐ డోంట్ వాంట్ టు హ్యావ్ దట్. ఓకే, పీపుల్ ఆన్ ద వెబ్, ఆర్ వి క్లియర్ ఆన్ దట్, సర్? సో వాట్ ఇస్ ద ప్రాబ్లమ్ నౌ? వి ఆర్ బిల్డింగ్ ద జార్ ఫైల్స్, ఓకే, separately and using them in Docker image building process. The idea is to build the jar and use the jar as part of Docker image building itself. Do you agree that that makes sense? So with this I'll get two advantages. One is I'm trying to build a Docker image, and second thing is my company need not invest too much on servers because my image building is happening on a machine where Docker is present. Because to build this now I need not have any fancy software. So all the software which I need is just install Docker. Just install Docker. Rest of the things will be image pulling. Are we clear on this? Yeah, right. So now what I want to do is, this introduces a topic which is called as multi-staged Docker files. What is it? Multi-staged Docker files. Okay, so this is inspired from a builder pattern. What is it? Builder pattern. What this builder pattern tries to tell us, while you are building the Docker image in your Docker file, you can try to write multiple stages. Okay, while you are building your Docker image in the Docker file, you can try to write multiple stages. So my Docker file will have what? Multiple stages. So let us assume that this is stage 1, this is stage 2, this is stage 3, whatever it is. You can try to add whatever stages. Okay, only the last stage is your runtime, or this is what your application image is all about. Rest of all of the stages are used to build your application. Okay, so here what it says is, build your application in one stage, and whatever you have built, okay, copy the artifacts into runner stage. Okay, I'll define what a stage is, but are we clear on this, sir? నేను డాకర్ బిల్డ్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఇప్పుడు రెండు చేస్తాను పనులు. ఒకటి బిల్డ్ చేస్తా. ఓకే, బిల్డ్ అంటే ఏంటి? ఇప్పుడు నాకు .NET అనుకోండి DLL కావాలి, జావా అనుకోండి జార్ కావాలి, ఓకే, నోడ్ ఇప్పుడు రియాక్ట్ చేసి అయితే HTML పేజీలు కావాలి. ఇలా बिल्ड చేసే అన్ని बिल्ड स्टेज లోకి వెళ్ళిపోతాయి. సో ये बिल्ड स्टेज का मतलब ये होता है, जब मैं जावा एप्लीकेशन चला रहा हूँ, मुझे जार या वार फाइल चाहिए, वो कैसे बनता है? वो सारी चीज मैं बिल्ड स्टेज में कर लूंगा, वो एक हो या दो हो, और उसमें जो भी रिजल्ट है वो लाके मेरे रनर स्टेज में रखूंगा. सो दिस कैन बी फैट, but this has to be slim. This will have all the necessary things to build your code, but this will have only the necessary things to run your. Am I clear on this, sir? Yes. Okay. People on the web, am I clear on this? Yeah. Right. So now what I'll try to do is ఇది వాడు చెప్పేది. ఫస్ట్ ఒక డాకర్ ఫైల్లో మీకు కావాల్సినవి బిల్డ్ చేసుకోండి, ఏమైతే బిల్డ్ అయినాయో అది తీసుకొచ్చి రన్ టైంలో పడేయండి. ఓకే, దిస్ టేకెన్ టు ద నెక్స్ట్ లెవెల్ హ్యాస్ లెడ్ టు సంథింగ్ కాల్డ్ as మల్టీ స్టేజ్డ్ డాకర్ ఫైల్స్. ఓకే సార్. ఓకే, నౌ what I want to do is okay, I want you to just tell me what is the meaning of this. I'll try to open something for you. ఓకే, ఎక్కడ ఉంది ఫోల్డర్? ఓపెన్ చేసింది ఇందాక నేను. యా, రైట్. సో ఇది వద్దులేండి. వాట్ అవసరంలా, నాకు డైరెక్ట్గా ఎగ్జాంపుల్ కావాలంతే. యా, రైట్ సార్. I'm not worried about whose file it is. Okay, right sir. So are you seeing something on the screen? Okay, so this is something which is called as a multi-staged Docker file. Okay, this is done very badly. It shouldn't be like this, but that's okay. Fine then. So what I wanted to do is go to Perplexity and ask what is multi-staged Docker file, because in this day and age no one writes Docker file with single stage, everyone is writing multi-staged. Okay, can you please Google this? People on the web are nowhere responding today. Okay, are we doing it, sir? First of all, am I audible? Yeah, right. So just go to Perplexity and ask what is a multi-staged Docker file. And the second thing is, okay, once you understand this, then I'll try to solve that problem of whatever I'm trying to speak about. Okay, so try to go with Google with this multi-stage Docker file. Yes, sir. So what is a multi-staged? So what do you think is multi-stage now? Let me try to work this. Okay. The idea is simple, sir. When you are trying to write Docker file, we write from statement, right? What it says is you can write multiple from statement. From one from to other from, whatever is present, that is one stage. So for example, I have written from something like test, and here from something like slim, and I've written some run instructions over here. Okay. So, and then here also I've written some run instructions, and then finally I've written from runtime. Okay. And then here I have written some CMD, whatever that CMD is. Now, how many stages are we seeing here? 3 stages. Okay. Now, when you build the image, your application image is only this stage. మిగతా స్టేజ్లన్నీ ఇమేజ్లోకి రావు. ఇమేజ్లోకి ఏమొస్తుంది? आखिरी स्टेज वస్తుంది. सो जब हम मल्टीपल स्टेजेस लिखते हैं, जो भी आखिरी स्टेज है वही आपका एप्लीकेशन है. रिमेनिंग स्टेजेस हम इसलिए लिख रहे हैं क्योंकि हमें आखिरी स्टेज चाहिए. ओके, राइट? सो now let me try to go over here and where is that? I was, yeah, come on man, cd c drive temp and docker, and let me try to do get clone cd. All right, so now in this I am trying to create a file which is called as docker. Are you clear on this, sir? Now in this docker file, what I'll tell is, for building the Java code, I need JDK. For running my application, I need JRE. So I'll try to write from OpenJDK :17, or we have been using what? Eclipse -Temurin 17, and let me call the stage as build a stage. ఇందులో మీకు కావాల్సింది రాసుకోండి. What is my purpose over here? Here I should be building the image, and then I'll try to write from Eclipse Temurin :17-JRE. For this, there is no need for me to write the name, but I'll be calling it as runner. So what is your application now? Your application is a builder or a runner? Runner, because whatever is the last stage is your application. So in here, what is it I'll be trying to do? I'll be trying to build the Java code. So to build the Java code, I need to copy whatever is in current directory into something called as app or any folder. So let me try to call it as SPC. It doesn't matter. And now let me try to tell workdir/SPC. To build the code, what you need to do is you need to execute a command which is called as mvn package. Ideally, okay. So mvn is something which is called as maven. Now just go to docker hub maven. Okay. మనకి 17 కదా కావాల్సింది, ఇదే కదా. From my builder needs maven 3 dot 9 hyphen Eclipse, and over here I said MVN package. Now when I do this, what would happen? This will create a Spring Petlinic jar file. Are you clear on this, sir? Now, in my application, do I need Maven or do I need only jar file? Jar file. Okay. So over here, what I'll try to do is I'll try to tell that I want to copy from what is my stage's name? Builder. So in that builder, wherever my jar file is present. So SPC slash target slash, I don't know the file name, but we'll try to build and figure out. Spring Petlinic. Okay. First, I could work run cheddam. What will be the jar file's name? Okay. 3.3.4. Why to risk it? Let us try to run it straight up. Ikkada work run cheddam first. Then we will try to add it. Okay. These things I'll try to keep commented and then I'll try to make the changes. Okay, sir. Now let me get into my Linux system and cd docker, and let me try to the docker image build -t spc colon trail and dot. I'm calling it as trail because it is not a useful version. I have not written the runner. I just want to know path of it. Okay. This takes a lot of time, but that's okay. So it is trying to run all the things necessary to build the jar file. Okay. This takes around 6 minutes, sir. Yeah. Okay. While this is running, since it will take time, let me come back to this. Now, don't you think I can install all the requirements in one stage and copy that into my slim stage? Yes or no? So why should I basically create a user called as nobody and I try to do everything in one stage? First, normally execute whatever you want, and then try to basically run or take whatever is necessary and then try to run it in the slim stage. Okay. Right. అది రన్ అవ్వనివ్వండి. Okay, let it do this stuff. Now what is that I have taken as a builder, and then I have done pip install, and then finally what is it I am trying to do? I am trying to copy from builder whatever is required. So can't I do that for the same fast API also? Yes. So what is it I should be writing over here? Don't try to do all of this over here. At first of all, don't try to even do this. Okay, and try to take as builder and okay, copy whatever is present in the current directory into a folder which is called as /app. I don't want, I'm not worried about users here. So I'll try to tell that run. Okay. So let me execute the same command, run pip install. Okay. So now we know that this will install all the requirements and we get everything. Now what I want to do is I just want to add one simple thing over here. Whenever I'm trying to run in my actual application, I'll try to tell that. Okay. Now copy whatever you have basically created from builder stage. Whatever we build over here will get into this folder 3.12 and copy that into 3.12. Okay. And obviously I need to copy the code also to run the Python stuff. So let me tell that copy. What is it? Dot into /app. Okay. Over here, ch own and the user is nobody. So what is it I'm trying to copy? I'm trying to copy the code. All the dependencies are already copied into this machine. Okay. Now, basically, when I try to run this, I am not installing the dependencies. It has just only copy statements. So I'm building the code over here and copying what is necessary into the slim stage. And it appear as runner. And both of them have to be in the capital state. So this is what companies expect you to do. In this day and age, whenever we are writing a Docker file is always a multi-stage. In one stage, we try to build, or in n stages, n-1 stages, we try to build. And in the last stage, we try to run our application. And our application should be copied into the image, which is very slim, which does not have any security loopholes, and which has exactly our application. Pi stage lo me istam. So for example, if I want to run some tests and generate test reports, I might create one more stage, which is called as a tester stage. And in that stage, I'll try to run all the unit tests. So as a DevOps engineer, I'm doing only one command, docker image build -t, and then give the image name. It is building the code, running test cases, generating everything. And then I get the results. And I basically get the slimmest version possible. Okay. That is achieved only with the help of this stuff. Okay. Now let us try to see what has happened in this Ubuntu machine. Okay. It said that it has built the image, but we need to find out the location of it. So what I'll do is docker execc-it. What was my image's name? spc colon. Okay, docker execc kada run. spc-trail /bin/bash. Now, if you try to look into SPC, I have all of this. If I get into target folder, so what is my file's name? Antena? So now if I basically get into the Spring Petlinic version of it, what I'll be trying to do is copy from builder SPC target Spring Pet Clinic into slash what is it? What should we call it? Slash app slash ఇంత మొత్తం ఇవ్వాలని నాకు లేదు. So I'll just give slash app slash Spring Pet Clinic dot jar. And one more thing which I want to figure out is, in this, are there any users which I can use? So let me exit. Again, the same command, docker run. I want to run it in an interactive mode. Why am I running it in an interactive mode? Because all I want to do is, I want to figure out, I want to do some experiments at C slash. Okay, there is already a user called as nobody. So you can either use a user called as nobody or use a user called as Ubuntu. It doesn't matter. Whatever users which you want, you can basically use it. So I'll try to tell that ch own equals to nobody. Okay, or ch own equals to Ubuntu. You give whatever user which you want. Okay, right, sir. Now for the user called as Ubuntu, there is a home directory which is called as home slash Ubuntu. If you want, you can make that home slash Ubuntu as is place, but it doesn't matter. Now what is my work there? Slash app, that is where I have copied. Now expose 8080 cmd java -jar, and then our file's name was Spring Pet Clinic dot. If it is .NET code, I might have n stages where I build .NET. Final stage where I run .NET. Node.js, n-1 stages, I'll be building Node.js, whatever is required for it. Last stage, I'll try to run Node.js. In the last stage, all you have to remember that you need to have a non-root user. You need to have a non-root user. And then this application should be as much slim as possible. 5 image lo mee ishtam, kavalante 5 GB తీసుకోండి. It doesn't matter, because there you are building the image. Here you are running the application. Okay, right? Okay, sir. Now let me, where is it? Get add dot get commit -m added changes. Okay. Again, I'm trying to tell, whenever you try to write multiple stages, last stage is your image. All the above stages will be ignored. They are used only for building your image, but they are not part of your image. Okay. మీరు ఇంటర్వ్యూలోకి నాకు డాకర్ ఫైల్ వచ్చండి, ఏమొచ్చండి, ఫ్రమ్ వచ్చు, యాప్ వచ్చు, ఈ కాదు, మల్టీ స్టేజ్ డాకర్ ఫైల్ నేను రాసేదని చెప్ప. The reason why we do it is, it reduces cost. Every build activity happens with one simple command, which is docker image build, and you get everything as part of that. So this reduces my build infrastructure. So on all my build servers, I need only one software to be installed now. What is that? Docker. And Docker is a free software. This is how we reduce operational costs. Okay, right, sir. So refer here for multi-staged Docker file for Spring Pet Clinic. Now let me go over here and then let me try to get user ఏమి ఇచ్చాను నేను, Ubuntu ఇచ్చానా, nobody ఇచ్చానా, అసలు యూజర్ రాయలేదా? అరాచకం కదా ఇది. User should be Ubuntu, or user can be nobody also, whatever user which you try to get. Okay, Okay, sir. Now, Docker image build hyphen this. Let me try to use SPC 1 dot. Now, will it not build the code? Yes, it will build the code. But that is a builder stage. And once it builds, it copies that into your runner stage. Now, every time you are not downloading a jar file from some hypothetical location, every time you are building the code and then you are getting that exact jar file. Yeah? Right. This should be the standard of the Docker file which we should be writing, and this is what would be accepted in an enterprise. Okay, and ikkadతో అయిపోలా దీని తర్వాత స్కాన్ చేస్తే బూతులు ఉంటే అవి కూడా ఫిక్స్ చేయాలి, because we are supposed to do two things over here: make our images slim, ensure that they don't have high security risks, high security risks. For ensuring that we don't have high security risks, all we need to do is we need to install a tool and generate a scanning report. Okay. So మన ఏదో అప్లికేషన్ ఓపెన్ చేసాం, యూఆర్ఎల్ ఇది fine. This will take some time, sir, MVN package. Yeah, but this is definitely faster than running in a virtual machine. Yeah. Do we understand this concept of multi-stage now? How many stages can I have? You write as many as you want. What will be considered? Only last stage. The rest of the things are useful for building the last stage. Okay. Generally, at a max, you would see 3 or 4 stages. అంతకంటే ఎక్కువ చూడరు. So build stage, unit test stage, performance test stage. Rarely you will not see people using perf test stage over here, but it might happen. It might happen. Now I have written this part, right? Yeah. ఇది build అవనివ్వండి. Git status git add dot git commit hyphen m added multi stage. Fast API I'm not building. I want you guys to see whether it is working or not, and then try to run that. ఓకే, ఎలాగో చేయరు, నేను చేసుకోవాల్సిందే అంటారా? నేను చేయను. ఓకే, రైట్ సార్. సో refer here for the possible solution where we build dependencies in one stage and copy them into other with permissions to the user. Are you clear with this, sir? And if you remember few days ago, I think when I was speaking about the Spring Boot application, I have also spoken about React.js application. Gutunda? Yes? Okay. Fine, sir. Okay. Now, if you get into this React.js application, what were the steps which you have executed? npm install. And if you try to see npm install and npm run start. Okay. So you don't need to do this. What is a React.js application? Front-end application. Any front-end application will have only three things. What are they? HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. For to running that, do you agree that Nginx is enough? And can I get Nginx Slim version? Yes. So after I do this, if I basically execute this command, which is called as npm run build. Enti? Npm run build. Then what it does is it creates a folder called as dist folder, distribution folder. Okay, right. అందరూ పేషెంట్ గానే ఉండమంటున్నారు, ఎవడు చేస్తలేదు పని. ఓకే ఫైన్. Or let me, for example, show you this. So this is also a React.js application. Okay. So if I get into React.js application, what I can do is I do npm install. I try to basically run npm run start and all that stuff. But there is one more thing which I can do. I can try to do something called as npm run build. So then what it does is it creates a production build folder. What that production build folder will have is that production build folder will have only HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now what is that? That folder, copy it into Nginx machine. And once you copy that into Nginx machine, you can directly run your website. Okay. So, right. Finally, Docker image ls. Now, what is the size of SPC which I got? 318 MB, right? So, if I go with the trail version, it was 754. Spring Petlinic is of a decent size because it will have an app server inside it. Okay. Now let us try to see if it runs or not. Docker run -d. I don't want to give name. -P SPC:1.0. Antena? Yeah. Docker PS. And what is the port number? 32770. 32770. Vachinda? Yeah. So where did we build the jar file? As part of Docker images. Okay. Right. Now, is this making sense? Okay. And what is the user which is present over here? Non-root user. So if you want, we can basically check that. So Docker exec, let me get inside -it. So this is the container ID for SPC:1.0, and then /bin/bash. Oh, fine. My bad. Okay. నేను ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్ రాసిన దాంట్లో యూజర్ది కమిట్ చేయకుండా బిల్డ్ చేశాను. Okay. This I have committed later, right? That was not considered. So you try doing this, the user will be Ubuntu itself. Now, inside that user is Ubuntu, and then I have only app folder. So only for this app folder, this user will have access. User ownership undedi ekkada? Only app folder. So even if someone logs in into with that Ubuntu user's credentials, they will not be able to do anything on that machine because they will not have an access into that. So this is reducing your chances of attack. Okay, right. Fine then. I'll that is one thing. All I have to do is just do git pull and then try to rebuild the application. It will work. I'm not worried about that. Okay. But let me try to show you this stuff because this is something which I want you guys to work on today. Okay, good. So if I try to do npm run build. So now what would happen is, in the simple React.js app folder, there will be a folder that gets created which is called as dist, D-I-S-T. In the dist folder, they will be seeing something called as index.js. HTML. If you remember in user share Nginx HTML also we had index.html. Whatever are the contents of the dist folder, copy into user share and Nginx and HTML, so that this React.js application runs on Nginx. And Nginx is a very minimal stuff, and try to take the slimmest version possible. Done. Okay, so now if you try to take the Node.js build, what was the size of the image? If I'm not wrong, it was somewhere around 120 MB or 1.02 GB. Okay, నేను చెప్పినట్టు చేస్తే 47 MB అవుతుంది. If you follow what I'm trying to tell, your image size will become how much? 47 MB, because that is enough to run the React.js application. You really don't need that fancy sizes. So can you try these two things today? Not 2, 3. Fast API, Spring Boot Clinic, and React.js. Okay, so if you try these 3 things, okay, you will have exercises of what you call of Vue.js and .NET also, where you will have instructions of how to do it, and then some steps also written. All you need to do is follow this. So what is a Docker file now? Whenever we are trying to write a Docker file, will we write single stage or multi-stages? Multi-stages. Which will be the slim version? Last stage or first stage? Right. How about a first stage? It can be anything, because that is not part of your image. In the last stage, what is that we are supposed to have? We are supposed to have slimmest version with a user already created. Don't run as a root user. This is a ground principle. Am I clear on this? మనం ఇక నుండి ఎప్పుడు డాకర్ ఫైల్ రాసినా ఇలాగే ఉండాలి. From now onwards, whenever we try to write a Docker file, it should be a multi-staged Docker file with the last stage being slim. Okay, sir. Now, if you try to see start folder, okay, are you seeing build got created? And in this, not build, man. Okay, the build folder is ready to be deployed. In this case, they are basically trying to create a build folder. So in this build folder, are you seeing index.html? Now copy all of this into Nginx. మీరు కావాలంటే ఇది రన్ చేసి చూడండి. ఓకే, జావా స్క్రిప్ట్ ఏం లేదు కాబట్టి రన్ అవ్వట్లేదు. దీన్ని తీసుకెళ్ళి మీరు Nginx లో పడేస్తే, ఇఫ్ యూ కాపీ దిస్ ఇంటూ you need to copy all of this into user share Nginx HTML. That's it. So when you do that, then what would happen is, this is your web store. Okay, the reason I'm trying to tell you all of this is because in the interview this is going to be your like, అంటే మీరు చెప్పబోయే అబద్ధం దగ్గర ఇలాగ ఉంటుంది. Okay, whenever we are trying to tell about Kubernetes, we will be trying to tell that this is the nature of the applications which we try to run. And in this, are you seeing web stores? And web store is always written in either AngularJS or React.js or Vue.js. So for that, you have to write a Docker image. So what was your Docker image? We had 2 stages. What was the first stage? Node.js, from Node. What was the second stage? From Nginx. Nginx is where we try to run our application. And these backend services can be in Python, can be in Java, can be in .NET or any other language. So what is that we do? Whenever developer submits the code, we build the code and copy whatever is necessary into our final stage. Okay, and then once we have all of these images built, now I need to share them and send it somehow to Kubernetes, so that Kubernetes does the rest. Okay, మన Docker file వాడటానికి major reason image building, and that image has to be optimal. Are we clear on this, sir? Yes. Okay, so whatever images which you have built today, okay, give it a try. There needs to be a further optimization, and for that optimization we need to do a little bit of scanning. So tomorrow we'll try to do the security scan also. Okay, right. Kagbate, all of this works out. At least I have given you 3 exercises. Even if you attempt to do few, it makes sense. Otherwise there is no point. అలాంటప్పుడు నేను ఇవి మాట్లాడి కూడా అనవసరం నేను అనేది అది. If you are not practicing, there is no point, because there is no way that you will be able to speak about it. Okay, మీరు ఫస్ట్ అడుగుతారు, సార్ రియల్ టైం చెప్తారా అంటున్నారు కదా. చెప్పేవాళ్ళు నిన్ను అడగండి, ఎవరైతే రియల్ టైం చెప్తామని అబద్ధాలు ఆడుతున్నారో వాళ్ళు మల్టీ స్టేజ్ డాకర్ ఫైల్లో వచ్చారు రాదా వాళ్ళని అడగండి. ఇండస్ట్రీలో పనిచేసి మైక్రో సర్వీస్లో వర్క్ చేసేవాడు ఎవరినని అడగండి, నువ్వు డాకర్ ఫైల్ ఎలా ఉంటుంది నీదంటే ఇలాంటిదే చూపిస్తుంది. బికాస్ దిస్ ఇస్ అ స్టాండర్డ్, దిస్ ఇస్ కన్సిడర్డ్ టు బి రెడ్యూసింగ్ కాస్ట్, creating security, reducing security vulnerabilities. Okay, so generally organizations need both of them. So you need to reduce costs, you need to reduce, yeah. So now on my build server I just need one software. What is that? Docker, right? And that makes it extremely easy, and this is the better approach of basically doing the things. Okay sir, fine then. So today can I expect that you guys will try this? Okay sir, fine then. I'll be uploading the notes. We'll meet in our next session. Right sir, thank you.